Number 15. Matthew Mitchell. While helping his father clean out a shed, 10-year-old Matthew Mitchell was bitten on the finger by an Australian funnel web spider. The boy's family used his t-shirt as a tourniquet to curtail the spread of venom and rushed him to a hospital. Matthew's condition was critical as he'd suffered multiple seizures and started frothing at the mouth. The child survived after being treated with 12 vials of antivenom, one of the largest doses ever administered in Australia. Number 14. Australian funnel web spider. Named after the unusual webs they produce, Australian funnel web spiders are utterly terrifying. There's been at least one instance of Atrax robustus, commonly known as the Sydney funnel spider, claiming a life within 15 minutes of envenomation. A neurotoxic component called atrocotoxin blocks the normal transmission of electric signals throughout the body. Certain features shape the Australian funnel web spider into the perfect human-killing arachnid. Its neurotoxins don't affect the nervous system of other mammals, but wreak havoc on primates. Because of their large fangs, funnel web spiders often deliver full envenomation and may strike repeatedly. They strike with power and may penetrate through fingernails and soft shoes. It's not uncommon for a spider to latch on until it's forcefully removed. Symptoms may include extreme hypertension, muscle twitching, unconsciousness, and elevated intracranial pressure, leading up to death. Number 13. Attacks in Negev Desert. Over the course of 1 week in April of 2020, 2 scorpion sting victims were hospitalized in critical condition in Israel. They both hailed from areas in the Negev Desert, and in both cases, the attacker had been a species commonly known as the DEATHSTALKER. The first victim was an 18-year-old girl from a Bedouin village. Then, several days later, a 6-year-old boy was picked up by paramedics near a highway after he was stung. Both victims were ultimately stabilized, but the scorpion's venom had caused them significant distress in the form of excruciating pain and breathing complications. Number 12. Deathstalker Scorpion. Much like its name would suggest, the Deathstalker is a fearsome arachnid that's perfectly capable of killing a human being. This is especially true for children, the elderly, or people suffering from allergies or heart conditions. A small, yellow-colored scorpion, the Deathstalker, can be found in deserts and scrublands ranging from North Africa through the Middle East and into some areas of Central Asia. Its venom is a remarkably potent mixture of neurotoxins. Death may come as a result of anaphylaxis, which is an extreme allergic reaction, or pulmonary edema. According to one study, there's also a high risk of victims developing pancreatitis post-envenomation. As such, stings sustained from this scorpion species must be treated as a medical emergency. Number 11. Branson CARLISLE. In November of 2014, a toddler from Alabama in the US died after being attacked by a brown recluse spider. 5-year-old Branson CARLISLE was bitten on the shoulder blade by a spider that had snuck into his new pajamas. In the past, the boy's mother had been bitten by the same spider species and knew the dangers. The child was rushed to the emergency room, where he was treated with antibiotics and steroids. He had a high fever, and doctors were concerned that the venom had gone systemic. The boy was transferred to 2 different hospitals as his condition worsened. His blood was no longer clotting, and he suffered massive internal bleeding. His heart ultimately stopped, and over a dozen revival attempts were fruitless. Number 10. Brown recluse spider. The brown recluse, also known as the violin spider, from the black line on its cephalothorax, is among North America's most dangerous arachnids. Even though it's only slightly larger than a US penny, the bite of a brown recluse can cause death or the amputation of a limb. The venom chews through soft tissue, causing necrotizing ulcers. Even if amputation doesn't occur, the wounds may take months to heal and leave behind deep scars. Brown recluse venom is hemotoxic, meaning that it targets blood cells. In very rare cases, envenomation may even result in hemolysis, which is the actual bursting of red blood cells. Many bites occur when the spider is pressed against the skin of its victim, as a result of the creature wandering into clothing or shoes. Number 9. KAILYN KIRK. In the aftermath of a tick bite, 5-year-old KAILYN KIRK spent hours unable to speak or move. The child had awoken with numb legs and upon trying to get up, had fallen out of bed. Her mother initially assumed that the child's legs were asleep. However, as she was brushing her daughter's hair, she noticed a tick embedded in her scalp. It wasn't long before the child started slurring her words. The toddler was rushed to the hospital where doctors diagnosed her with tick paralysis. They assured the mother that KAILYN would be back to her regular self once the tick was removed. After 12 hours of agonizing waiting, the child began to recover. However, if the tick hadn't been discovered in time, she could have died from respiratory failure. Number 8. Joseph ELONE. In 2013, New York teenager Joseph ELONE was following his mother into the house when he suddenly collapsed. Early the following day, the 17-year-old was pronounced dead. ELONE was a nature lover who a week prior had spent time in the woods as part of an environmental fellowship. It was there that he'd suffered a tick bite. While Lyme disease is a known complication of the arachnid's bite, ELONE had developed a more severe and rare form of it called Lyme carditis. He'd gone to a doctor but was only prescribed treatment for a cold. About a week after the onset of his symptoms, ELONE succumbed to worsening respiratory complications. A post-mortem examination of his body revealed traces of Lyme bacteria in ELONE's liver, lungs, brain, and heart. The latter was what had cost him his life. The bacteria had created blockage in the teen's heart by interrupting the electrical impulses that kept it beating in rhythm. Number 7. Tick. Since they share the same class as spiders and scorpions, the deadly potential of ticks is sometimes overlooked. However, these creatures are incredibly dangerous. They feed on human blood, which may result in the transmission of infectious bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. There's an extensive list of potentially deadly diseases for which ticks are vectors. These include Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, Lyme disease, Q fever, or Colorado tick fever. Tick paralysis is the only condition actually transmitted by the tick and is caused by a toxin in the arachnid salivary gland. The transmission of diseases typically requires a long feeding session, and the chances of infection drop significantly if the ticks are removed within the first 36 hours. Number 6. EVELYN EHRENSTROM. An Arizona toddler was left fighting for her life in the aftermath of a scorpion sting. EVELYN EHRENSTROM was playing in her room when the arachnid attacked her. Since no one in her family had spotted the Arizona bark scorpion responsible for the sting, they didn't know what was causing her symptoms. As the venom started to spread through EVELYN's body, she became unresponsive. Her eyes rolled back in her head and she started convulsing. The child's mother wasted no time in taking her to the hospital. It was this sense of urgency that would end up saving EVELYN's life. Even after they'd arrived at the emergency room, it still wasn't clear what had happened to the toddler. Thankfully, her mother asked the doctors if it could have been a scorpion sting. They concurred that the girl's symptoms did correspond with Arizona bark scorpion envenomation. Within minutes of getting the anti-venom, the child's condition had already started to improve. Number 5. Arizona bark scorpion. The Arizona bark scorpion owns extremely potent venom that victims have described feeling as if electricity was surging through their bodies. The severe pain associated with its sting can last for up to 72 hours. Severe reactions to Arizona bark scorpion envenomation include paralysis, frothing at the mouth, convulsions, and death. Like the majority of scorpion species, these creatures will glow under ultraviolet light. This enables people using UV LED flashlights to detect them more easily, especially since the scorpions are predominantly active during the night. Number 4. Kim Boxwell. Kim Boxwell from Cornwall, England, had to be rushed to the hospital after she was bitten by a Brazilian wandering spider. The arachnid had made it into a home in a bag of supermarket bananas. Boxwell had felt something drop on her arm as she was eating one of the fruits. At first, the arachnid's bite reportedly felt like a pinprick. Before long, Boxwell's arm got horribly swollen and caused her severe pain. The 24-year-old woman then developed a high fever and she had trouble breathing. Fortunately, she arrived at the hospital before her condition could worsen and was given antihistamine treatment. Even though the spider was just a juvenile and didn't have much venom, it still could have claimed the woman's life. Number 3. Brazilian wandering spider. Brazilian wandering spiders are often cited as being among the most venomous arachnids on Earth. In fact, by some estimates, these creatures own venom over 30 times more potent than that of a rattlesnake. They're best known for their aggressive nature and the defensive posture they adopt by raising their frontal legs high. Mainly found in Central and South America, they're also commonly known as banana spiders, as they sometimes travel outside their natural range as stowaways on banana shipments. Symptoms of envenomation may include severe pain and breathing difficulties. For men, the bite has an additional effect, as it can cause painful erections lasting several hours. Death may occur in less than 2 hours of Brazilian wandering spider envenomation.
Official They Will Kill You merchandise is now available at theywillkillyou.com. Some of it is to die for.
Number 2. Dean Armstrong. After arachnophile Dean Armstrong was stung by Sue, his pet scorpion, his health began to drastically decay. The process culminated with him having most of his stomach and part of his pancreas removed in an operation which left him with a 20-inch scar. After he was stung, Armstrong arrived at the hospital in severe condition. He was treated and recovered, so doctors sent him home. Over the course of the next weeks, the scorpion's poison attacked his pancreas. Then a cyst on the organ burst and Armstrong started vomiting blood, so he was once again rushed to the hospital. It was then that he had the surgery which would leave him attached to a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. Number 1. Fat-tail scorpions. Fat-tail scorpions are, according to the Guinness Book of Records, the most venomous types of scorpions. Even Androctonus, the name of the genus, is a reflection of their deadly potential. The ancient Greek term translates as man-killer. The arachnid's common name is derived from its distinctly fat tail. Androctonus scorpions claim several human lives every year through their venom, which is a remarkably potent cocktail of neurotoxins. Thanks for watching. Would you rather be locked in a closet with a dozen funnel web spiders or have your family go through your browser history? Let us know in the comments section below.